Hey guys, Jack here, and today we're going to be talking about changes or additions that I think could be made to Battlefield Hardline to make it a better and more enjoyable experience. I'm sure you won't agree with some of these suggestions, I'm sure you've heard some of them before, and some of them probably aren't even possible, but with that said, let's get to it. So, first things first, matchmaking, and this only really affects rescue mode as far as I'm concerned. We recently played some arranged 5v5 rescue mode on a private server with 10 people who knew each other, all on TeamSpeak together, separate channels for each team so we could call strats and not be heard by the opposition, and it was actually a lot of fun. There were some tense moments, clutch plays, we had a blast for a couple of hours. But the problem is, can the average gamer who only has a couple of friends do this? No, they can't. Their experience of rescue mode will be very different. They're going to join games that are halfway through, players will disconnect, leaving the teams uneven. They can even join a server with their friends on and end up on the opposite team. More often than not, it's going to be a pretty crappy experience for them. Now, having a matchmaking and party system in Battlelog would fix this problem. 10 players get matched up based on their skill or ranking. You play 2 rounds. Whoever has the most rounds at the end wins. The game ends. The winning team ranks up. The losing team, well, loses, and there's a ladder for that too, so you've got something to play for. It's just a shame that Visceral have made a good 5v5 game mode here that has some potential, but the backbone isn't there to support it, and people will quickly lose interest in this game mode in its current server browser based state. It's a huge missed opportunity in my opinion, and really it should have been a priority and available at launch. Next up, RPG spam. I really hate this one, especially on Hotwire mode. The game's been out for more than a week now, and most players have got enough cash to buy both of the RPG upgrades for the vehicles. This has undoubtedly ruined my experience on Hotwire mode. I like this game mode and I think it's something new and exciting, but the best part about Hotwire mode is the car chases. Trains of vehicles chase each other through the streets, exchanging gunfire, doors and boots fly off the cars. There can be some real epic moments here, but all of these epic moments, all of those car chases are just over within a few seconds because most players are carrying an RPG around. And instead of playing the objective, you just get people spawning in a car, going to the boot, finding a nice corner to camp somewhere and one hit killing an objective car as it goes past. That happens again and again now, and it's just not fun. Completely kills the game mode for me. I don't even drive the objective cars around anymore because they're a death sentence. The game mode just becomes team deathmatch with vehicles. Me personally, I don't think RPG should be in car boots at all. I don't mind them scattered around the level as battle pickups, like having to fight for them like they're a mini side objective, so you can just get that one glorious RPG shot. Like, that's absolutely fine in my book. But everyone having them in boots of cars as soon as they spawn, and having multiple rockets per RPG, it's not fun. I think that you can already do plenty of damage to vehicles with assault rifles, SMGs, grenade launchers, grenades, C4, so why do we need RPGs in boots of cars as well? I think removing that option could really make the game mode more exciting. It would extend the length of car chases, it would lead to more advanced tactics and just less overall frustration for the player who's going to drive around with 3 team members in and be one hit killed by an RPG from some guy camping around a corner. Moving on, I'm sure you've experienced some pretty horrible spawns in Hardline. Spawning in front of a squad of enemies, behind a squad of enemies, not so bad that one. Spawning in a gunfight, spawning on a teammate and dying straight away before you've got a chance to react. The spawns in this game definitely need some work, especially in Conquest and Team Deathmatch game modes. I'd like to see the in-combat no spawning option that BF4 has in CTE at the moment. Adding a larger cooldown period for players that are in combat would really help out here. Also, some maps and game modes have some really questionable spawn traps. The block is a prime example of that in Conquest Large. One team caps all 3 flags, the spawn trap is real. It's horrible, and if it happened to me I will just quit the game. It's not fun even for the winning team, just waiting and repeatedly killing the enemy as they run forward in waves toward you. Also, something like Heist on Bank Job, the cops can spawn right outside the final drop off point for the bag, and you just get this horrible choke point like a wall of bullets that never seems to end. Okay, weapon balance. You've probably heard a lot about this too. There are some weapons in the game that are evidently better than the rest, leaving a large majority of the weapons redundant. In the operator class, the M16A3, the M416 and the AK are clearly the best by a landslide based on their stats. In the mechanic class, everyone's favourite, the K10, just dominates. If you're not using it, you're going to get beat again and again. In the professional class, the 300 knockout is way ahead of the competition. And as for the enforcer, well, the shotguns are okay, maybe still a touch too powerful at medium range, but the battle rifles have way too much recoil in my opinion. So now you've got this situation in a game where every server you join is just full of mechanics with a K10 and operators running around with an M16 or an AK. There's no variation, it's boring, very little weapon balance, and there's no reason to use any other guns apart from the ones that maybe look cool, or maybe you just really like them because of their sensual curves. Destruction, now I'm going to keep banging on about this one. I don't mind that on some maps stuff isn't destructible because it's like an important strategic location, or if there was a hole in wall A, then position B would have a line of sight on the money pile or something like that. Like, I totally get that, and that sort of stuff is really pivotal in level design. We can't destroy some stuff for a good and valid reason, but there are some things in game that you expect should be destructible as a Battlefield player, especially when you're driving around in an armoured truck, for example, and you can't break something down, it will just stop you dead in your tracks. That's the sort of thing that I can't really forgive. Small walls, for example, wooden shacks, fences, small shrubbery, on Everglades and Riptide, man, those little bushes, I don't even want to know what sort of steroids nature has been slamming down her throat, but these bushes, man, they're pretty goddamn strong. It just doesn't make sense to the player from a visual perspective. You're travelling at 60 miles an hour in a big ass truck. Nope, stop dead in your tracks. This can be a massive immersion killer and it breaks the flow of the game. It'd be great to see Visceral go back and look at some of those levels to see if they can touch them up and improve destruction in certain locations and on specific props. Next, not a biggie, but a pet peeve of mine. Whenever I run over a kit or a battle pickup, I want to be able to keep on moving, dodge some bullets, hold R and pick that thing up, whatever it is. You can do this in Battlefield 4, you just hold R, run over someone's kit or a 50 cal sniper rifle. You can pick it up, keep moving, it's all good. In Hardline, however, you've got to stand still, look at the kit or battle pickup, hold R and then you get it. I don't like that, it slows me down and it puts me at risk. But like I said, it is just a pet peeve of mine. Also, in Battle Log, and this one is another pet peeve, I like that saying, I wish that some of the assignments and unlocks were clearer. There's a lot of new language in Battlefield Hardline for the reward system, and it'd just be nice to know exactly how to achieve each assignment. Some of the language is very vague, and you've got to actually Google it to find out what it is and what you need to do to get it. I understand that some people might like that and enjoy the mystery behind it, but it just seems like another hurdle for the player to overcome. I want to know how to get the heist criminal supremacy bounty, or how to unlock the gold service star 1 in Blood Money. It doesn't tell you how to do that sort of stuff, and that doesn't really make sense to me. If you look at the Syndicate weapons too, you don't actually know how to unlock them until you've got the prerequisite awards completed, but it doesn't tell you what the prerequisite awards are. So for the average player, it's just a guessing game unless they Google it. It just seems very unintuitive to me doing something like that for weapon unlocks, but that is only a matter of opinion and some people might like it that way. There are some questionable out of bounds areas on certain maps and game modes where you get no visual indication you're going to enter an out of bounds zone. It looks like you can go there, but for some reason certain lanes and areas of the map which look like they're playable and should be playable are not. This isn't a massive issue really, but some of the out of bounds zone choices seem unnatural and a little confusing for the player. Not everyone looks at their minimap all of the time, remember. The dreaded reload bug happens way more frequently in Hardline to me. I'd say I have it rarely in Battlefield 3 and rarely in Battlefield 4, but in Hardline I notice it all of the time. And the reload bug is where you reload, the animation completes, and you're left with the same amount of bullets that you started out with when you reloaded. This gets me killed on so many occasions because in my head I'm thinking I've got a full magazine here, but I actually don't, so it's a massive pain in the ass. Unfortunately, it seems that this bug can't be replicated, so they don't actually know how to fix it. It's probably going to take something like a complete rework of the reloading mechanic to sort it out because it looks like the root cause can't be targeted, which is a big shame. And finally, something that I think would really help improve gameplay here, limiting the number of players for specific game modes and maps. For some reason, I was under the impression that this would have been a feature of the game, and modes like Hotwire and Heist would be limited to 32 players only. I'm not sure if this is a bug and it's going to be fixed in the upcoming patch, but allowing servers to run 64-player Hotwire, Blood Money and Heist matches are just a nightmare, especially in mixed servers where game modes change a lot. No progress is made, the maps are too small for these game modes, and it's just not a pleasant experience. Spawn, kill, die, spawn, kill, die, repeat. The objectives never move, the cars are blown up straight away, the bag gets reset, the money just lays around by the cash pile. There's simply too many players on most of the maps for 64, and matches disintegrate into Operation Metro style grindfests devoid of tactics and player satisfaction. Introducing a hard limit for these game modes would really improve them across the board in my opinion. And that's about all I have to say for now, and this is based off my experience with the game so far, so let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you see similar trends here, or am I way off the mark? Thanks for watching, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.